What's good everyone on YouTube? It's me again, back with another video. And as I mentioned a few videos ago, because I'm just stuck in lockdown and because I'm trying to save money on not buying shoes, I've decided to start doing more afterwear reviews of some of the shoes that I've actually worn. So this video was actually suggested by a commenter on my Adidas Blondey review. I forgot the name, but I'll actually leave the comment up here. And if you are the guy who left this comment, thank you very much, because this is you are the reason this video is happening. And to be fair, I really should be making content for the channel. So, you know what? Let's stop running at the mouth. Let's just get into it. I'm going to show you what the shoe looks like today. And before we go any further, because call to actions are like, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you want to keep updated with any of my uploads, make sure to hit that bell notification so you never miss a video that I upload. And here is the Adidas Superstar 80s in the Blondey sort of clear colorway and how it is today. So with the wear that I've done on it today, one thing you'll probably notice is the toe box, at least the stitching around the toe box has definitely gotten a bit frayed. And that's usually because the stitching sticks out further than the rubber. On top of this, you can see that even though the plastic itself, you know, doesn't seem to have yellowed much at all, if anything, you can definitely see any scuffs and scratches on the plastic. And this is the kind of thing that like you can't ever buff out really. And you've got quite a bit on the inside of the foot, mostly because I'm leaning on the inside of my shoe a lot of times. And we've got a little bit on the outside where my pinky toe knuckle would be rubbing up against. On the laces itself, we've got some sort of dirt on the laces. It's going a little bit brown. But overall, I think I've kept this shoe in fairly okay conditions. If you've ever seen the photo of Blondey's pair after he skated in them for like, I think a few months or something like that, that, my friend, is a very thrash pair of shoes. But like, this is fairly tamed in comparison. And we'll get into talking about the pros and cons of this shoe. And I definitely have a lot to say about this. So without further ado, let's get into the pros of this particular shoe. So my first pro for this shoe, obviously, is going to be the clear upper of this shoe. So there are a lot of shoes out there that will have clear panels, and I feel like you have to be somewhat strategic with what panels you use, you put as clear panels. So a shoe I feel like that doesn't really use the clear panel very strategically is the Clot Air Max 1s, where they just use it on the toe box. And honestly, because of that shape of that shoe, your toes will always never fill out the shoe, and it'll always be obvious that your foot is not of the size of the shoe, or if your foot's cramped in the shoe. But for this particular shoe, they've used the clear paneling on the sides of the shoe. And honestly, this is where you're going to really highlight the color of your socks the most. And also it hides the fact that a foot is inside the shoe a little better than, say, if you put it on the toe box, because you don't actually see the shape of your toes. And who wants to see that when you're wearing shoes? That's why we invented shoes. With this clear paneling, it really leaves great opportunities for customization. If you want a plain white Superstar, you can wear white socks so you get that sort of look. But if you want to wear something more crazy like rainbow socks, which I've done a couple of times, you can definitely do that. And it actually works pretty seamlessly with this shoe. So that would be my first pro for this shoe. The clear upper really leaves a lot in terms of customizability. My second pro for this shoe would actually be the traction of this shoe. So herringbone traction is very sort of tried and true, honestly. And even though you would never really use this for basketball or anything, I did find when I wore this around for casual use / dancing / skating around on a penny board, I did find that I never had any issues with the grip of this shoe. Even on some days where it was slightly rainy and the floor was a bit wet, I actually found this shoe to be quite a nice grippy ride. I don't know if it has anything to do with this sort of like gum rubber compound. I'm pretty sure all Superstars use the herringbone traction, so I'm pretty sure most would feel this way. But you know, this is the first Superstar I've ever owned, and I have found the traction to be something to note. So that would be my second pro for this shoe. The traction of this shoe is actually pretty much A1 on this particular shoe. Yes, very much so. Yes. My third pro for the shoe would actually just be the value for money in terms of the entire package, specifically at the retail price. So these retailed, I'm pretty sure, for around 130 bucks. I think I paid about 130. I'll go check my old review and let you guys know how much I paid for these. But for that particular price point, you actually get quite a lot with the shoe. So not only do you get this particular shoe, you actually get three pairs of socks that are exclusively designed for this particular package. And they sort of call out different, I think, UK cities. And you get a pair of white socks, red socks, and blue socks with an interesting sort of line pattern, which really helps to go with the whole customizability of this shoe. If you're someone who didn't even have any like pretty sort of colorful socks, the box itself includes 3 pairs that you can experiment with, which I think is really cool. And I feel like more Adidas collaborations, or more collaborations in general, should include extras like that. I do remember the black Blondies, I don't think came with those socks, so that's a bit of a shame. But for this particular original OG clear pair, they definitely came full with the package when it came to the price point. So that would be my third pro for this shoe. The entire package value, I feel, was quite justified. So there are 3 pros for this shoe. We'll be moving into the cons, and if you've been enjoying this video, make sure to leave a like down below and leave a comment down below, and engage with my content, and please share it with your friends, and let's continue with the rest of the video. And I just realized my hair looks like a rooster. That is probably humbug. So my first con for this shoe, and this is just something highly specific that I find a bit annoying, particularly for the uses I want to use it for, is that the midsole / outsole is actually quite a thin sort of layer on the front of the shoe. Now you may be thinking, well, if it's thin but it protects your foot, it doesn't really matter, right? Well, there is one particular aspect that this thinness does come into play, and that's when you're trying to toe stall in this shoe. But Marco, what do you mean by toe stalling? I'm glad you asked. So I'm sure you've seen some dancers where they'll like go right on the tippy toe of their shoe and sort of spin around, or like just stall on it to make a sort of dramatic statement. A lot of times when they do that, they're putting immense pressure on the shoe itself, and usually they do it, I've seen a lot of dancers do it in things like Air Force Ones, and the reason Air Force Ones work so well is because the midsole is so thick that it just doesn't bend in any way, so it actually assists you in a way because your foot doesn't take the full grunt of the entire toe stall. But with a shoe like this, when the midsole is this thin and this soft, what actually happens is you'll find that the midsole will actually cave inwards. I never knew it was an issue until I tried it, and I realized, oh my god, I am actually going to break my feet if I keep doing this in this shoe. So that would be my first con for this shoe. The thinness of the midsole / outsole, at least for toe stalling, is definitely not something you want to try. My second con for this shoe, and this is something that I was dreading and I was kind of hoping these ventilation holes would help, but it doesn't, is this shoe definitely gets very steamy. So with this plastic upper, while it is cool in terms of customizing your look, it does absolutely nothing when it comes to the ventilation of this shoe. They've tried to alleviate this by adding these ventilation holes in between the 3 stripes, but honestly that is not nearly enough to ventilate this shoe. And especially if you're going to do anything like skating or any sort of physical activity in this shoe, your feet are going to sweat up like crazy. And it's not so much the issue that your feet sweat up, people's feet sweat all the time inside of shoes. It's the fact that visually you can even see the steams, the sweat condensating on the inside of your shoe. Now, I did notice when you're wearing lighter colored socks, this is an issue that isn't as noticeable because the steam does sort of blend in. However, when you're wearing things like black socks, you can definitely notice the socks going a bit lighter, almost like a gray color, and people will sort of think, what's going on with your shoe? Oh wait, you've got a greenhouse going on inside of that shoe. That is disgusting. And it's unfortunate, but that's just a sad reality of plastic clear shoes. The steam factor is off the charts with this. So that would be my second con for this shoe. Just the steam house that you get with this shoe is something that no one really wants to see. My third con for this shoe, and this is probably the biggest one, is just the general instability of the upper itself. Now, because they wanted to implement a full clear sort of upper in terms of the toe and back, they've removed a lot of the structural integrity that may be found in other superstars. More specifically, I'm referring to the fact that there is no heel clip in this particular shoe. With most superstars, even with like some regular casual shoes, they'll at least put some sort of hardened material to make the heel section a little more grippy / stable. But in this particular shoe, they've opted to remove that in order to let your foot show and, you know, really show off the color of the socks, which I think is, you know, fair enough. But in terms of just the stability, this shoe offers no sideways sort of stability at all. So you will find that if you ever try to hit a cross with someone, or if you ever try to lean on the sides of your shoe because you're trying to be fancy with some sort of dance move, you'll find that your heel is going to come off that footbed. And also, this is a bit of a funny story. I was actually jamming in a parking lot once. I remember doing a dramatic kick out and heel drop onto the floor. And because my heel was a bit too far forward, I actually hit right on the plastic part. And because there is no heel clip, my actual heel took the full grunt of the blow on a nice asphalt floor. And I'm not even joking, I couldn't walk properly for about a month afterwards. And after that, I was pretty soured off wearing this shoe. But enough with the story, we'll just get back to the point at hand. And my final con for this shoe would just be the general instability of the upper itself. So 3 pros and 3 cons, we finally did it. And just to end this video off with my final thoughts, this is definitely a shoe. I think it's a looker. You can definitely make the shoe look quite interesting with different socks and stuff. And given the resale prices today, I'm not sure if I would pay too much for this particular shoe. But if you're a super fan of superstars and you really enjoy the sort of clear aspect of this shoe, or if you're a skater and you happen to really want to support Blondey, I don't know if buying off a reseller supports Blondey, but hey, there you go. I would definitely say this is a shoe that you can go for. You'll get that clear aspect definitely, and you get some very nice traction, but you will have to take into the consideration that at the end of the day, you are wearing plastic on your feet. It's not going to be that stable, and it's going to be an absolute steam house. So just keep that in mind when you're considering this shoe. And with that, we've come to the end of another video. So I'd like to hear what you guys think of the Blondey Superstar 80s. And if you guys happen to have a pair for yourself, what would be your pros and cons for this shoe? So for our final call to action, like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section down below. And if you're into more sneakers, dance, reviews, vlogs, that sort of thing, make sure to subscribe to the channel. So with that, I think I'll just end the video, and I'll catch you guys in another video. Video. Nice.